When it comes to Charles Manson, the question that people most often ask is, what was he like? And my immediate response would be, probably not like you imagine him to be. Okay, let's get into a bit of context of what we're going to talk about today. I have now been granted top priority in the mailroom. I've been approved by the mailroom, I've been approved by the prison, and I've now been approved by Charles Manson. I am the person that is going to take care of his sole responsibilities of clothing, shoes, food items from the outside, including snacks and things that he likes, and cigarettes at the time. And it wasn't just snacks and food items, it was eyeglasses and dentures. It was visits to the doctor, because there they have co-payments as well. I don't know if you know that or not, but in prison, they have to pay a co-payment before they even get in to see the doctor. It's not free like they tell you it is on TV. But anyway, let's get to the story. So when an inmate receives mail like this from the outside, of course, they've got to be approved. They've got to be approved by a lot of people. And first off, Charles Manson, he has to say yes. He entrusts you to send this to him. The person who did that for the longest period of time was Blue. She did it for a long time. She used to send Manson his boxes once a month, and she took care of him. Then that transitioned into George Stimson when he eventually moved in with Blue. Basically, now he's moving in with Manson's girlfriend, and he's taking, I don't know, it wasn't Manson's girlfriend, you know what I mean, one of Manson's girls. If it wasn't for Manson, probably Blue wouldn't have been popular anyway, and nobody would have ever been moving into her house to do anything. So that's what I was saying. No girlfriend. I don't even think that, I was with George one day, and somebody said something about his wife, and he's like, no, she's not my wife, or just, I forget what they call it, like soul partners or something like that. But anyway, nobody girlfriend, so, but you can still comment that he's not the girlfriend. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Let's move on.
Connected. Thank you for using MCI.
Hey.
Hello.
How are you?
Pretty near good.
Good.
That submarine?
Uh-huh.
That's that other package, you know.
What?
I call it the JFK box.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. The one we didn't get?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I was JFK before. A long time ago.
You should be, one should be coming within a day or two, I'd say. That's what they told me on the phone.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, that's one thing you learn in prison. There's no rush.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like you're trying to beat the clock or nothing, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it should be. I ordered it well over 2 weeks ago, and then I called them last week, and they said that they usually ship it within 10 days after it's ordered, so.
You ever play cards? Poker?
Sometimes.
Well, you know, you get a game going, and every time the cards go around in prison, the way it works is that you get a nickel, and then with the nickel you supply the cards, and then you supply the point man to make sure you don't get arrested. Then you supply the attitude of you're going to get paid. In other words, you got to hold the rough part, you know, the muscle. You got to be the arm on the game. You know, like if the people don't pay what they owe, then you're obligated to go get it because you're getting the nickel, right?
Right.
So if there's a poker game going and you sit down and they take your money, but then when comes time to get paid, the card game don't have no muscle, and they don't pay you. They just keep taking your money, but they don't pay you. That's what law and order is in the United States of America. They keep talking rights, and they keep preaching rights, and they keep dying for rights, but they ain't giving up no rights. So what that means is that the Holy Spirit of that game is running wild, and it's running in what they call a shade tree. Everybody wants to think that they got the shade tree, but they don't need a shade tree because they're not doing anything illegal. because they're stuck in the brainwash. They're stuck in the don't step on the grass or you get a ticket.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they ain't stepping on the grass, so what the hell they need a ticket for? I mean, it don't make sense, man. This George wanted the underworld tree, but he ain't doing nothing in the underworld. What the hell would he do
at a California
in the
correctional
underworld tree if he ain't doing nothing? You see it?
Yeah.
In other words, he couldn't break the law if you allowed him to, because his mother is in his mind telling him, no, don't touch. Get that out of your mouth. You can't suck on that. Does that make any sense?
Oh, hell yes.
Yeah. The first line of law and order is in the mind of the individual that steps out of line, because the court wouldn't be there if he didn't step out of line and go to court. So the court actually really belongs to the underworld. That's why they got an MAC. They call it the Man's Advisory Council.
Right.
But what it really is, it's the Mac the knife. Because the first court in the line of courts is in the bottom. Everything is upside down.
So Blue was the person that was doing this for the longest period of time. And at one time, she sent Manson grass seed. And he grew grass on the prison yard. It was the first time they ever had grass. You know what they did? They ripped it out because Manson grew it, and it was now illegal. That's another story. On to this conversation with me and Charles Manson. I was saying, Blue did this for a very long time. Bless her heart, she did it for a long, long time. Even though I don't like her, she's still a good girl for doing that. Then it transitioned to George. And then George did it for quite a while too. He did it for like a 4-year period or something like that. And then all of a sudden, poof, George was gone. He didn't give Manson an excuse. He didn't give him a reason while he was cutting him off. Manson thought that they were writing a book together. All that information was just gone. Manson was sending him things for that book. All of a sudden, that was gone. Manson didn't even know what he was sad. He was upset. He was sad because nobody was going to send him any shoes or any clothing or anything like that anymore. It was over with. Manson was basically alone at this point. There was people writing him and things, but there wasn't anybody helping him, sending him money and stuff like that. There wasn't people that are willing to, send him to a doctor's appointment or things that he really needed in life. So that's where I came in, and I just started helping the guy. At this point, Charlie had attempted to give me a few nicknames, but I settled on my own. And then, so he changed that to a variation of my initials, which is MAC, and he started calling me Mac. Now I'm Mac, the person in charge of Manson's personal belongings.
Does that communicate?
Oh, yes.
So we still got a United States of America, but it's the old graveyard that we're living in, supporting the new space age people. But our graveyard is still the one that's going to overcome, because we cannot survive in lies. We have to survive in the truth. If you've got somebody that represents themselves to be a brother and they're lying, they have no honor. If they have no honor, they have no court. If they have no court, they have no rights. And if they have no rights, then they belong to whoever wants to take them off and do anything they want to do to them. So it's like anyone that's misusing my money or taking me off for something behind my back, all that works with the Holy Spirit. I mean, they call it the Holy Spirit. Actually, there's not really anything holy about it. It's just the balance of what is and the truth, in the righteousness, not in the dogma or the brainwash or the colleges or schools, but in the real of the blood and the guts and the suffering that people have to go through in order to get to the word survival. Plagiarizing. How do you say that word? Plagiarizing?
Plagiarizing.
Plagiarizing. Everyone that's plagiarizing my life is destroying the God and country for greed and lust and lies and the passion of the soul that murders the life that lives within the birth of the child's life, serves you, mows your grass, does everything you want him to do, and then cries at your funeral when you're dead, and you look around and your wife's got 3 of his babies, and all your daughters are pregnant by him, and you ain't got no children left, and he's laughing, telling you on television, I'm taking all your children because
This recorded call is from an inmate by California Correctional
You won't even let yourself out of prison to represent yourself. That's how stupid I am. I'm so fucking dumb.
Charlie proceeded to share snippets of his life with me in this conversation, expressing his inability to connect with falsehoods. It seems that from a young age, he had been integrated with the principle of truthfulness, and a trait he believed was crucial to his own survival.
What are you?
Me? I stay under the radar. I try not to be anything.
No, you're scared.
I'm not scared.
Well, there's nothing to be. There's nothing. What's wrong with being scared?
I'm not scared. I'm just...
You don't have any fear of nothing?
Yeah, I do have fear of certain things. Snakes, for one. That's what I told you.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you don't have any fear, that's very... I wouldn't want to go downtown with somebody with no fear, because we'd be in trouble all day long.
You're damn straight you're going to be in trouble all day long.
I want to go downtown to somebody that has a lot of apprehensions about everything. Don't go over 65 miles an hour on the freeway to start with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Don't show me, don't prove nothing to me, because I'll accept the truth. I don't like going in a car at 5 miles an hour, much less 10 miles an hour or 100 miles an hour. I see them guys going in race cars.
Right.
Been watching the race on TV.
Yeah, they were going like 200 miles an hour.
That's crazy. That just don't make sense at all, man.
Yeah, that over the weekend, that pretty little girl, she was going like 200 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I'm not scared. That actually sounded pretty cool there the way I said it. I'm not scared. It's also pretty cool. That part reminds me of the Sammy Hagar song, I Can't Drive 55. But in Manson's case, he should write another song, I Can Only Drive 25. Let's move on. You know what's funny? The older you get, the more scared you get. Probably when I was talking to him in that conversation, which was like 25 years ago now, when I was talking to him then, I was probably less scared then than I am now. I'm probably scared of a lot more things now in life, like breaking a hip, peeing myself before I get from the car to the house. All those things come into play too now. It's like, wow, I start thinking about that. I'm like, wow, I'm scared of a lot more things now than I was back then. It's a funny life.
Guys that go up in the sky, man, you'd be 1,000 miles an hour up there,
Yeah, like the Chuck Yeager?
Yeah, I'm afraid of everything, man. I don't think there's anything wrong with being afraid.
I don't live in fear, really. Honestly, I don't.
Well, you don't know. You don't know until you start facing it. You're afraid of your dog.
Recorded call
I could be.
from an inmate at a California correctional facility.
When you were a little kid, that dog would hit you in the head with his tail. Before you were old enough to realize what was going on, he'd show you his teeth.
Yeah.
He'd show you his teeth, he'd hit you with his tail. And you didn't know what fear was. You just accepted that as being your boss. That was about pain if you didn't do what it wanted. You just programmed the brain, man.
120 seconds.
You set
left
patterns
on
in
this
the
call.
brain. The same thing you do with your child. You chastise your child when he's young to get him to do the right thing so he can survive. You teach him to stay off the freeway with his bicycle, man. You teach him the things that he needs to know so that he's going to survive. That's where I was lucky to fall in that reform school in Indiana.
Right.
And then the monks taught me, man, you lie, you're going to suffer. If you lie, you're going to get your ass beat. You dig?
Right.
So I learned that there was such a thing as truth. It wasn't all that complicated philosophical hodgepodge of idealism, but it was just as simple. If you did, say yes. If you didn't, say no. Don't say you didn't pee the bed when you peed the bed, because if you did, you're going to get your ass beat.
Right.
So I learned from those monks, man.
You have 60 seconds.
If all the Christians
Call.
were like those monks, that would be a good church.
That would be.
It would be a good temple, but those monks seem to stand alone with the winos, the bums, and the hobos, and the higher up you go, the more contaminated it seems to be with politics and phony dreams of others that have no mind at all outside of money. So anyways, have a good day, man.
You too, man.
It's always good to talk at you, man.
You too.
You know, I don't want you to think that anything, actually.
Yeah, I like talking to you too, man.
Clear your mind. Clear your mind.
Happy Memorial Day.
Yeah. Same thing with you, man.
All right.
Give my regards to everybody that is, and all those people that you see using me.
Yes.
Say they better cut me some slack and send me some canteen.
I'll tell them.
All right.
I'll get them.
All right.
All right.
So now you know a little bit more about how I became Bobby Darin's favorite song, Mac the Knife. Interesting, huh? Did you learn some things about Charles Manson that you didn't really know? Honestly, I would think if you jump in a car with Charles Manson, he'd be the guy going like 115 miles an hour, scaring you in the back seat. But then we find out that he's the guy in the back seat all scared. Yeah, Manson's just been blown all out of proportion. Nobody really tells you the truth. Videos every day come on YouTube about Manson was the leader of this cult. Okay, he was an interesting guy to listen to. A lot of people listened to him and thought he was saying maybe things that maybe he wasn't saying. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not into solving the case. I was into collecting autographs, which took me into just humanity, on liking people, and being nice to people. That's how we got to this, I was nice to a guy. That's how I got here, being nice. And I've also found out by listening to Charles Manson throughout the years that I think that's one of the reasons that they wouldn't let him represent himself in court. They were afraid. They were afraid that people might listen to him. And if they listened to him, they might believe him. And if they believed him, oh no, what'll happen next? So I hope you enjoyed that conversation. This is the new cup that they allow me to put in the YouTube store. I had to order one to see how they actually looked because I don't want to sell anybody a bunch of junk. These things look actually pretty good. And I drink a lot of coffee. What kind of coffee do you drink? I think I've told you before, I don't like sugar in it. Just one drop of sugar in this and it'll just ruin it for me. I don't really like strong coffees anymore. I like the Kona. Have you ever had Kona? We have this company here in California that's called Don Francisco. I love that coffee. I buy it on eBay. I have a link below if you want to buy the same coffee that I drink, and if you want to buy a cup too. Again, thanks for listening. Thanks for coming back. I appreciate it every single time you come back. Comment in the section below on what you thought about this video. Did you like it? You didn't like it? Did you subscribe because of it? Did you unsubscribe because? Just tell me down there. I like listening to the comments. I like reading them all. I read them all. Sometimes I can't comment to them, but I love to read them. You guys are pretty intelligent. I didn't think there was anybody out there in the world that really wanted to listen to things about Manson. So I'm glad you're here. And until next time, peace.